Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Voices Beyond Borders, the podcast that explores everything related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and international exchange and education. My name is Francesco Bajos. I'm your host, and I'm so happy to be back for a second episode, you guys. In this episode, we're delving right into the amazing world of international education. We'll be exploring various aspects of global learning, as well as the role of the Office of International Studies at Montana State University, the impact it has on the international students on campus, and the exciting international and exchange programs available at Montana State University. Before I introduce you guys to our amazing guests today, this is a quick reminder that this is a friendly conversation between adults, meaning all thoughts, experiences, and insights shared are only reflective of our own thoughts and own experiences. So please be mindful and respectful of that. Now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Christoph Zaba, the Dean for Global Engagement and International Programs at Montana State University, and Janelle Rasmussen, the Director of International Training and Professional Development, also at Montana State University. Hello, guys, and welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you
Francesco.
guys
Thanks
doing?
for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Trust me. It's been a month into planning for this episode, and I'm so excited for our listeners and viewers to hear all about your amazing insights and expertise as well. So now, before we dive into our discussion, why don't you guys each introduce yourselves very quickly and briefly describe your role within the Office of International Programs?
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for having us, and thank you for the introductions. My name is Christoph Zaba, and I serve as the Dean for Global Engagement and International Programs here at Montana State University in Bozeman, Montana. And in my present role, I oversee various aspects of the university's international activity, and that includes recruitment and admissions processes of international undergraduate level students coming to Montana State, as well as recruitment and admission support services for graduate level applicants. International student and scholar services, short-term study abroad programs and exchanges, faculty-led programs. We have a unit that deals with travel compliance, international travel compliance, on behalf of all MSU staff and faculty engaging globally and traveling internationally, as well as a unit that deals with short-term training and externally funded programs that falls directly under Janelle's supervision.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll go ahead and go from there. And so my unit oversees organizing a wide range of exchange experiences for students, scholars, and professionals from around the world. And I also, through this position, also currently serve as one of 3 representatives to the United Nations for NAFSA, which is our international organization for international educators. And through that role, I have gotten involved in a wide range of activities related to the United Nations, and tie that back to Montana State University is the hope.
That's amazing. Janelle and Christoph, from what we've heard already, you guys seem to have like extensive expertise and knowledge into the realm of international education. And this makes me very interested in learning more of what motivated you to pursue such career, to work not directly with international students only, but also these exchange programs as well.
Thank you. So in my case, I could say that I have always enjoyed interacting with other people and learning about other languages and cultures. And that's something that I have always been passionate about. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that I was born in Poland, which is a very homogeneous society, at least it was at that time. And since very early on, when I was in high school, I had an opportunity to experience other countries through short-term summer exchanges for high school students. And it was a very eye-opening experience for me to interact with other people who spoke other languages, who ate sort of different type of food that I was used to, at the same time being able to learn about their history and heritage, and being able to visit and you know, the cities, and look at all the you know, wonders that there are to visit. That made me really very, very excited, and I think that my interest started right there. So it seemed to me that it was a natural step for me to pursue a career in higher education, in which I could interact with the people that are as passionate about international education and this type of exchange and learning as I have been since early on. And throughout my career in higher education, I served in several different roles, whether it is in student services, or academic oversight and advising, international student services. But the theme that sort of joined all of my positions and combines is being able to work in international education, which sort of is something that I'm really excited about.
That's so amazing to hear. And I think we will dive into this a little bit later on in the episode. But I had the chance to work with Christoph and Janelle. And what you just discussed is very evident through your work and through your daily interaction, just sharing this culture and this amazing experience that you had from all of your previous positions, maybe, and your international experience to your colleagues and to all the students that come into OYP at MSU. And yeah, that's very inspiring to hear and also to witness live as well. Janelle, what about you? What motivated you to pursue such
Yeah,
career?
no, as I was listening to Christoph explain his experience, I think mine is very similar, just
Mm-hmm.
from across the world. You know, was born and raised here in Montana in a very small town. And the opportunities to travel or even think about traveling abroad were not really open to
Mm-hmm.
me at that point. Although my family was very supportive when I started, you know, wanting to do so. But I befriended our German foreign exchange student in the high school, and we became really close. And then when we graduated, I ended up traveling over to Europe with her for a month and staying with her family and traveling around on my own. And it was just such an eye-opening experience that I was hooked. Like after that, that's all I wanted to do. But then I came back to university and you know, was getting a teaching degree and ended up teaching English in Gifu, Japan, after I graduated from college, because I had worked with Japanese students while I was here. I worked in the Office of International Programs as a student here at Montana State. So now I'm just continuing that work, and I've been doing it ever since. So and haven't looked back. I really enjoy the work that I do, and every day is a new challenge, and that inspires me. So, and I love to help students get the same experience that I had.
That's actually very amazing to hear you saying this. And I think the common theme between your story and Christoph's story is this passion was ignited from a very young age, being involved in an international setting or like in an international or like a cultural setting with multiple nationalities and people. And this really drives me a little bit to talk about your office, OIP, or the Office of International Programs, because I know you guys deal with a lot of students, sometimes undergraduates and sometimes graduates. How do you see your office literally shaping the international experiences on campus?
Thank you. So it's a good question. So you may not know, Francesco, but this fall we are in the second week of classes for the fall of 2023. MSU has reached a milestone of 17,000 enrolled students.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
several of these students within the university student body are international students who have come for this semester to pursue their bachelor, master's, or doctoral degrees, or to stay with us for a short-term exchange or a short-term stay for a semester or a full academic year. And our role as the Office of International Programs at MSU is to support all of these students. So first and foremost, we provide support and guidance to international degree-seeking students and visiting students and exchange students, as well as visiting faculty, on all the matters when it comes to finding themselves in an American academic environment, finding themselves in Bozeman, finding themselves in Montana, and finding themselves in the United States in general. So we provide various support services to students and guidance, and we have an open door policy for anybody who is in need of any sort of help or referral, or and no question is a silly question, as we say. At the same time, we serve a slightly different function because we have teams in our office that are tasked with creating study abroad opportunities for domestic students who might be coming from Montana or who might be coming from any other state within the United States. And within the context of a large public university, we often deal with students who may not have had an opportunity to engage in such exchanges or in such experiences before. So at the same time, we receive visiting students for a short term and create exchanges and partnerships with partner universities in many different countries to provide our students with those sort of opportunities. One of the most profound roles that we play is to facilitate connections making, if you will, and a dialogue and a conversation or interaction between our international students whom I've mentioned, as well as domestic students. So a huge portion of our role is to create opportunities for international students and domestic students to engage in various different activities. So each academic year, we launch a very robust calendar of engagement where we deliver different activities and provide students with opportunities to learn about Bozeman, to learn about the university, but at the same time allowing for those interactions to happen. And a good example, for example, could be early October this year. I believe it's October 7th or 6th over the weekend. We are organizing a bus tour for students to visit Yellowstone National Park, where students will be participating in a full day of activities in the park. In the spring semester, we host what we call an international food bazaar, which is a campus-wide event where we encourage our international students to share their favorite recipes for their favorite dishes back from home, and our students interact with the chefs. And then those dishes are being served and they are being mastered first by our chefs, and then they are being served in our food cafeterias on campus on a particular day, where our domestic students, our international students are helping with that sort of service. So a huge portion of our role would be engagement focused activities.
That's so amazing to hear. I actually had the chance to assist or to be available during certain events that happen. And one of them, as you mentioned, the International Food Bazaar. And I think the thing that still with me is from that day is seeing everyone on campus being so engaged in such an international setting. You could see everyone, all the international students dressed in their official home attires, doing their official maybe dances or like plays, dances, opportunities, song, and just eating the food of other international students. I think this has, in my opinion, this has created a very humbling and very cozy sense of belonging in an international world. And I think this is what MSU is doing and your office is doing as well. You are bringing the world to Montana, but you are also taking Montana to the world as well. For our listeners and viewers, I actually had the chance to study at Montana State University for a year as a Fulbright scholar. And during that year, I also had the privilege of working with Christoph and Janelle as a graduate assistant. And during my time in their office, every day was a learning experience. Every day was a chance to interact with other international students or other international staff that they brought a wealth of knowledge and culture. And this has helped me not only in my personal life to broaden my cultural horizon, if you may say, but also in my professional life and like connecting with all of these individuals and sharing experiences, sharing thoughts on how we can create a more harmonious, a more interconnected world from a simple campus in Montana. So yeah, this is very amazing to hear. And I'm pretty sure that everyone who's at Montana State University right now, either local or international student, is very lucky and privileged to be experiencing such events and such culture with them. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I just want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Sabal Public Library, for giving us this amazing space that we're using for the entire season. Thank you so much. So if you now want to move on to our second question, as you guys know, international students usually bring a lot of unique perspective into campus life. Do you have any examples or do you have any personal experiences on how these experiences or how these perspectives have enhanced the university life and the interactions between local and international students?
Well, so first and foremost, international students enrich the learning experience for everybody.
So true.
When it comes to cultural diversity, obviously our international students come from many different countries, from many different cultures, the cultures and the countries that may often be unknown to some of our students. And that sort of diversity enriches the learning experience. With that comes global perspectives, because international students who are placed in the same classes as domestic students, they are engaging in conversations and discussions, so they are bringing global perspectives, and they are showing oftentimes our domestic students that things can be done differently. And this is really a very interesting process for our students to observe and learn from international students. Even talking about bringing different languages to the campus community. Very often when you look at the websites of different universities, it is being reported, let's say, 90 different languages are spoken on campus, etc., etc. So you can see how important it is to bring different cultures, different global perspectives, and different languages to the university environment. Not to mention that when you interact with people from other cultures, people from different countries, you enrich your skills, you learn, you interact, you network, you gain some sort of global awareness, and that is a huge contribution to the learning process. Obviously, I've mentioned cultural events and this sort of extracurricular learning, which is really a part of our experience here in the United States, which is really important. Then comes community engagement. We haven't mentioned that a lot of our activities, like the International Food Bazaar that we offer every year, those sort of activities are available not only to our students on campus, but to the entire city and the entire community within Bozeman. So we are not only enriching the experience of students who are studying or spending some time with us here in Montana State, but we are bringing those opportunities and culture learning opportunities to the entire community within the city. And last but not least, and something that may not often be mentioned, when you look at the economic contribution that international students make to the community, in addition to all of those enriching experiences within the university setting, when international students come and they have to live here, they spend their money here, they have to go and buy ice cream and food and all sorts of things. So there is a huge financial impact when it comes to the local economy, which is also important, especially that we are based in a smaller city. We are not in a very large city. So all of these are really true positives when it comes to why we should engage and bring international students to the university.
So I think what you just mentioned here is very interesting, because as an international student myself who has experienced life at Montana State University and having been surrounded with other international students, one thing comes to my mind is that all of us, no matter where we come from, no matter our backgrounds, our cultures, our religion, or the language that we speak, we all share one common vision or one common theme, and that is we all went to the United States so we can experience diversity at its best. And what's better than experiencing diversity with other international students, having the same experiences as you? We are all new to this country. We all have like fears, insecurities. We are all like trying to navigate this new world together. So being surrounded with that community and being surrounded with a support system such as OIP has made all of these experiences, and I know mine as well, very much more enriching and very gratifying, if I may say. So thank you for that, I guess. Now I want to move on into a very exciting question. I know it's my favorite question of the entire set list that we have here. But can you guys please share with our viewers and listeners a glimpse into the exchange programs that you have at your office, and also the other opportunities for local students to embark on such experiences?
As you know, Montana State offers a variety of short-term study abroad experiences, and we are very active and very engaging when it comes to outreach activities, starting from the early on when students are applying and coming to the university to attend orientations. And currently, we just started the fall semester, and our study abroad advising office is really busy with one-on-one advising, as students are really planning when within their bachelor or master level studies they can engage in this sort of activities. We offer individual, so if you are a student at Montana State, you can pursue all sorts of short-term programs. So we have individual study abroad when a student applies through an exchange program, and they can go and spend a semester or a summer or a full academic year at another university overseas, pursuing classes that would count towards their degree attainment back home. So we have several students who are pursuing that sort of experience. So you can do a direct exchange, you can do a direct exchange with a university partner, and we have several articulation agreements with universities all over the world to facilitate those type of exchanges, where we send a student overseas for a period of time and we receive a student in exchange from that country and that university. Another great area to engage in those sort of experiences would be what we call as faculty-led programs. We have a small unit within our office that assists faculty with creating short-term faculty-led programs, and those those travel courses or travel programs usually are attached to a course that is being delivered. For example, a class that is being taught in the spring semester has a travel component attached to it, and the travel component takes place at the end of the spring semester or shortly after the spring semester has ended. So there are travel courses and travel programs that are being attached to a course that is being taught. And in that sort of scenario, it will not be an individual student embarking on the journey on their own with our assistance, but it will be a group of students who are taking a particular class, and then as a cohort, they travel overseas for a short-term experience. A good example of such an experience could be, let's say, a college of nursing had last year a group of nursing students going to Tanzania on a on a service learning project. We had students really interested in this type of work. So we have several programs of this sort of nature. There are also many other short-term programs that are within Janelle's area that may not necessarily be a true study abroad experiences, because not every single student probably would be able to go overseas and engage in this sort of overseas engagement for a longer period of time due to their obligations back home. But there are several opportunities for domestic students in our programs to engage with visiting short-term programs, and I'll pass over to Janelle maybe to talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, thanks, Christoph. So as you mentioned earlier, Francesco, we do try to bring the world to Montana, and I think a lot of that happens through some of the short-term training programs that we do through our office. We have several long-standing programs that we've hosted over the last 15 to 20 years, 25 years even, that have been ongoing, and we keep building on them every year. And we host a couple different State Department training programs. One is the Middle East Partnership Initiative Student Leaders Program, in which we bring 15 undergraduate students from across the Middle East and North Africa region here to Bozeman for a leadership and community building program. The students come here, and while they're with us, they create a community engagement plan that they want to take home and initiate in their home countries. But and that's one program that we run. The second one is the Fulbright Teaching Excellence.
Actually, before we move on to the second point, sorry, I just wanna have a fun story here for our listeners and viewers. This is how I come to know Janelle. My brother is a MAPI alumni, and he had his experience, although it was virtual, at Montana State University through the program that was administered by Janelle and all the other colleagues. And my brother was so in love with this program that he used to talk all the time about Janelle and the impact that they had on his experience. So literally the very first day I arrived at Bozeman at Montana State University, the first person I went to see was Janelle, because I had like such fond memories from my brother that have been shared with me, and I had to see Janelle, and that's how I come to know more about the work that you guys do and all your other programs as well. So yeah, this is just a fun story, Janelle. Please continue.
No, I love this story, and I love that I got to work with both of the Bakos brothers, because you both are amazing. So
thank you so
we're
much.
Just very grateful that we had both of you interact with us in various ways, and having you here on campus, Francesco, was amazing. I wish you were still here. We miss you so much.
I wish that too.
Yeah, but
soon,
some of the
hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah, and the beauty about these programs is that we bring these diverse sets of students and professionals here to Bozeman, and our job is not only to train them in the area that they're here for, so leadership or high school training, training of teachers. We want to train the groups that come, but we want them to interact with our local community, and we want to create those opportunities where our community members, our MSU faculty, staff, and students all get to interact and learn from the participants that they're here. And that's where the magic happens, is this exchange of ideas and exchange of culture and, talking in the diverse way that they can interact with our community. The second program that I was going to mention is our Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program, in which we bring 20 to 25 high school teachers here from around the world every fall, and we're preparing to host them here in 2 weeks. So we're getting prepared on campus, but those teachers we send into the local high schools. So they are partnered with a local teacher. And, when we talked earlier about getting students engaged early in international activities, this is one way that we as an institution can help the local communities and the local high schools engage with these teachers and learn about, all the different countries that they come from. So we do a World Awareness Fair with those teachers in the local high schools, in which all the high school students can come to the fair and learn about the participants' countries. So that's a very exciting piece that we'll be doing this fall. And I think I'll stop there, but we have so many more programs. We do programs for high school students from Okinawa, and similarly, they're paired with hosts in the community, host families, and they interact with our students in the high schools. And through that program, we've been hosting this Okinawa Global Leadership Program now for 11 years. And through that program, we've brought hundreds and hundreds of Okinawan high school students here to Montana to do a 3-week immersion experience, leadership experience. And through that program, we have developed high school to high school relationships. So the 2 high schools in town, Bozeman High School and Gallatin High School, both have sister schools in Okinawa now through this program. So I'm proud of what we can contribute to the local community as well as the campus community.
To all our listeners and viewers, if you're interested in knowing more about the efforts and the programs available at Montana State University, I'm going to be leaving some resources in the description of this video, or you can follow the link that's appearing in front of you in the video, and you can read all about the amazing efforts and achievements of the Office of International Programs. Janelle, what you just said was really amazing. And just to anyone listening, whenever you get the opportunity to get out in the world, experience new cultures, new lifestyles, systems, and people, please go ahead and do it, because the end result will be life-changing, simply life-changing. Okay, guys, now I want to hear from you. Do you have any special moment or like any insight from your own experiences and your own journeys that you think has influenced your approach when dealing with such international students or such programs as well?
Francesco, I think for me, I've been working in this field long enough now that I've had the opportunity to, once I engage in these programs, the actual program is so exciting, and meeting the students and facilitating the networking and watching them grow during the program is so amazing. But I think where I get my special warm, fuzzy feelings about study abroad and its impact is looking down the road 5 to 10 years later and seeing what our alumni are doing after the experience that they've had here. You and your brother are 2 examples, now that we've had the opportunity to meet and connect and learn about each other and network, we are hoping now to take Montana State University students to Lebanon to work with you and other MEPI alumni. And those kind of activities are where I get really excited. And, and I love watching where our alumni go and what they do in the future. They start working for embassies. They are hosting their own podcasts. They are influencers on YouTube and, all these other social media aspects. They're starting their own businesses. They're creating their own summer camps for students and coaching others. And it's just really exciting to watch where our alumni go after leaving here and staying in connection with them, and then potentially having them help us do research in different countries or helping us facilitate activities for our MSU faculty members for future engagements. So that's where I think I get most excited.
That's actually so inspiring to hear. Yes, sorry, Christoph.
Perfect. And I have been privileged to be in professional positions that would allow me to travel internationally quite a lot. And I feel very inspired each time I travel to another country, because I get to immerse myself in the culture. I am the type of person that would like to experiment and try different type of foods that I'm not familiar with. I would like to experience the culture. I do sightseeing if I can. And sometimes it sounds much more glamorous than it is, because it's business travel, so there isn't that much time. But even if you have a half an hour break or an hour for lunch in between, you can feel how different the world is. And that is sort of very, very inspiring to me. And it has always been my intention to help other people discover that level of excitement that I get each time I get a chance to engage in those sort of activities. And both Janelle and I have traveled. We traveled, even though we didn't travel together for work, but we traveled to similar destinations. Last year, I traveled with a group to visit our sister state, Kumamoto Prefecture in Japan, and Janelle traveled as well. Which is a perfect example of how we get to engage with our university partners, how we get to meet the students on the road, but at the same time, for us, a huge benefit is to be able to be present and to be able to get immersed in the culture and the language. And that's one of those gratifying moments that each of us gets. And that's something that keeps us energized, wanting to come back and do things differently to benefit our students.
Christoph
And if I can
Janelle.
just add to that, Christoph,
Yes.
you can.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that sparked in to add to what Christoph just said. I will be traveling to Nepal this November, which
nice.
I'm very, very excited about, because I'm going to go with the local Rotary Club to visit some of our alumni and some school projects that they're doing through the Rotary. So that back to what makes me excited. Now I get to go see the work that we started here in action in Nepal and connect them with other alumni from the program, so that more alumni in Nepal, more T alumni can benefit from the Rotary projects that they're doing over there. So it is exciting to kind of see everything come back full circle.
That's so true. And I can honestly say, Christoph and Janelle, even though we have a screen or entire continents and sea separating us, I can honestly see your passion towards your careers and towards fostering such relationships, international relationships and collaborations. So that's very evident. Thank you so much for that. And now we're moving on to our final question. As you guys know, that hosting international students or hosting international exchange programs is a two-way street. Can you maybe share with us an example when this exchange has led to maybe unexpected collaborations, unexpected connections, and has broadened your cultural horizons and understanding?
Thank you. We have several students. As I mentioned, we often deal with students who may not have traveled much outside of the state or within the United States, not to mention embarking on such a journey as getting on a few planes and going to another country. We had recently an example of a student here from Montana who participated in a short-term learning experience in Amman, Jordan. I believe it was last summer, for a short term to study Arabic. And this student actually enjoyed it very much, and he pursued a scholarship following his arrival back in Montana State, and he was granted a Boren scholarship this year. And the very same student who discovered language learning in other countries will be going for 6 months, if I recall correctly, to study Russian in Latvia. So we have several examples of students for whom such a study abroad experience or an exchange agreement opened their horizons and kind of helped them discover their passions and interests. We have another student who recently that I could think of that participated in an organized trip to France last May, and she came back and she has been telling us that she wants to travel again, and she started getting more serious about studying French and turning her profession after graduation into teaching French as a second language here in the United States. So we have several examples of those individual experiences where a study abroad or exchange experience brought about new interests and sort of set a new direction for students in terms of their academic trajectory as well as future career plans. And one benefit of those type of exchanges to all of us, not only to a select number of students, is that when we send students overseas or provide them with opportunities to engage in this sort of engagement, global engagement here on campus, or when international students come and stay with us at Montana State, in a way, we are simulating this multicultural environment that our students would be exposed to and engage in when they start their professional careers. And today, with the advancements of technology, we can communicate across the borders, we can travel relatively fast, and no matter what position you end up having and which industry you work in, you will interact with people across the globe. And as educators, it is our duty to ensure that our students are well prepared rather to succeed in their professional lives following the graduation from the university. So those would be some of the most tangible benefits of engaging in such opportunities while you are in college. And Janelle, over to you.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think talking again about the Fulbright T program that we host here for training teachers, this last fall, we had just a really wonderful connection between one of our partner teachers and one of our Fulbright T fellows, who comes from Tanzania. And the connection was our local Bozeman High School educator was also the head speech and debate coach here at Bozeman High School. And through him meeting up with our Tanzanian fellow last fall, they developed an entire speech and debate training camp. And it was the first Pan-African debate training camp in Tanzania that benefited 20 different schools, 20 different community schools in Tanzania and the neighboring countries. And we were able to send 11 Bozeman High School students and 5 speech and debate coaches on that trip for over a month. I think they spent in Tanzania. And I know it was a life-changing experience for both sides. And I think that's the magic moment, right? When both sides of the equation get to share equally in the learning process. So it was just such a good experience for our students to be able to go there and be hosted well. So it was exciting. And that's just one of the most recent collaborations.
That's so heartwarming to see, actually, and to hear. I think the entire goal of such programs or such experiences is to have these connections, these deep cultural connections, not just on a professional level, but also on a personal level. And when you hear like these people that have connected through a simple exchange program, and now they are creating this amazing educational experiences for both sides from across the world, is just something very heartwarming and very inspiring to see. And I hope we get to hear way more of that very soon as well. Well, Christoph and Janelle, thank you so much for being our guest today, for sharing your stories, your experiences, and your insights with our listeners. I know personally this has been a very enlightening conversation, And I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers have maybe learned something new today, and maybe they will embark on a new international experiences themselves, hopefully at Montana State University. So thank you everyone who's joined us in this episode. If you liked it, if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media. Stay tuned for our upcoming episodes as we continue to delve more into the world of international education and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Please remember that the journey of learning knows no borders. Until next time, I'm Francesco Bajos, and this is Voices Beyond Borders. Thank you so much.